Hey, what's up? In this video, we're going to be talking about what not to say to church visitors, and we're going to be talking about the giant keep out signs that might be on the outside of your church that you don't even know about. Coming up. Welcome back. My name is Chris Abbott, but all my friends just call me Abbo. In this video, we're going to be talking about what not to say to church visitors, and I guarantee almost all of you are probably doing number 5. Okay, so let's dive in. All right, so let's dive into the 5 things you never want to say to a church visitor, but a couple of points before we get started. Number 1, never point directions. So whenever you have a guest come in for the first time, you never want to point to the bathrooms or point to your kids' check-in or point directions. You always want to show them. So if you guys have been to Walmart lately, and let's be honest, who hasn't, you'll notice every single time you go up to a Walmart employee and you ask them where something is, they don't tell you, they actually stop what they're doing, they walk you over to that aisle and take you straight to that product. We need to be doing the same thing at our church. So you never want to point out directions, you always want to walk someone there. Also, never hug someone you don't know, right? This is just a good way, especially with COVID and everything that's going on. Not everybody is a hugger, and some people that can turn them off and make them never want to visit your church again, right? So no big deal. Just make sure not to hug people that you don't know and train your team to do the same. Okay, so let's dive in. Let's talk about 5 things to never say to a church visitor. Number 1, are you new? Now, this question, I think we've probably all been guilty of this at some point, right? And especially if you have a larger church, you ever seen somebody just come up like, hey, what's up? My name's Chris. And you start talking to them like, man, are you guys new? And they're like, no, I've been going to this church for 2 years, right? That's like the most awkward conversation to have. It's a bummer, and it makes them feel not valued at all, right? So never ask someone if they're new. And if they are, now they feel a little bit awkward, right? So instead, just go up and have a conversation with people. If you think that they're new, just go have a conversation, talk with them, and kind of work it in. But never ask someone if they're new. Never ask them if it's their first time. So a much better way to find out if they're new without asking them is just to say, hey, how long have you guys been going here? Number 2, insider language. Now, this is one I was guilty of. In fact, a couple of years ago when I was on staff at my church, one of the things we did is as we were walking around, somebody came up, one of the visitors, and literally said, hey, what's sub 30? And they pointed to one of our signs. And I literally felt like someone had punched me in the face. We had created signs all over our entire campus with nothing but insider language. So we literally had signs that said sub 30 every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Well, nobody knows what sub 30 is. That was our college ministry, right? People are like, what is sub 30 and why do you have a service at 9 o'clock at night? Right? Well, for college kids, that makes sense, but they didn't know. Then we had signs that said GK pointing this way. Nobody knows what GK is, right? We had signs that said, hey, GYC meets every Wednesday at 7 p.m., but nobody knows what GYC is. We've all been guilty at times of using insider language, and this is a really easy mistake to make. So one of the things that you can do is walk into your church, take a look at your signage, take a look at your website, take a look at your social media, and make sure that you're actually calling things what they are. I was actually on a church website recently, and they literally talked about chaos, sparkle, and illuminate, which was actually their youth ministry, a women's event, and their missions department. Okay, but instead of calling it chaos, sparkle, and illuminate, literally just call it our youth ministry, right? Our women's event or our missions department. That way, even people that have never set foot in your church know exactly what you're talking about. So instead of sub 30, what we should have done was say, hey, our college ministry meets every single Wednesday night at 9 p.m. So we went in, we tore down all of our signs and we created new signs, eliminating all of our insider language, just calling things what they are. Okay, number 3. You never want to tell a guest the pastor's unavailable or the pastor's too busy. Now, 80% of people who meet the pastor on the first visit will come back for a second visit. So you always want to make sure that new guests have a chance to meet the pastor, right? So if somebody's asking to meet the pastor or asking about something, right, whatever it is, you want to find a way to introduce them to some of the key staff and leaders and make sure that they meet the pastor before they leave. Because 80% of first-time visitors who meet the pastor on the first visit will come back for a second visit. Okay, before we get to our last 2 points, I want to know from you, what's the funniest thing someone's ever said? What's something you might have said or what's something a volunteer said to a new visitor? I just want to hear it below, so comment in the comments below and we're going to be taking a look at all of them. Number 4, it isn't usually like this. So never apologize for your service or apologize for your building or be unapologetic, right? A lot of times it's easy to say, oh, hey, you know, it actually isn't usually like this. We're actually just gearing up for our Christmas production. Or, hey, it actually isn't usually like this. We have a lot of families who are out and they're on vacation and that kind of stuff, right? Never apologize. Lean into who you are. If your church is smaller, never apologize. Say, hey, you know, we don't have a lot of lights and fog like some of the big churches, right? Just own it. Just say, hey, man, one of the best things about this church is, you know, we're the type of place where you can shake the pastor's hand every single Sunday, where everyone knows your name. And if you're sick one Sunday and you're out, we'll notice and actually follow up with you. Just lean into who you are. And finally, number 5, we have something for everyone. Here's the deal. You don't have something for everyone. And if you do, then chances are you're probably not doing any of them really well. The best thing that you can do is literally just lean into who you are, own your DNA. If you're really good at reaching young families, right? Let people know that, hey, we have one of the best kids ministries in the entire city, right? Or if your worship team is incredible, or if you guys have really sticky sermon series, or if you have a great marriage ministry, right? Go all in on that thing and talk about those things that you guys are really, really good at. But don't say we have something for everyone, because everyone knows that's not true and it comes across as inauthentic, even though you mean it as a good thing. Okay, so if you like this content and you want to learn more about Facebook ads, plan your visit, and how to grow your church, subscribe to this channel so you get all of our new videos right away.